caught me checking for watermarks. G'day, Jock here from BALO Marine. Now, a few weeks ago, I had to go up to Port Stephens. I was going to meet John up there, and we had to pick up some equipment from a friend. Now, I've been looking at this for quite a while and, wondering about what the winds were going to do. I reckon the worst thing you can do when planning a trip is to have a timetable. It's the most dangerous thing. So I wasn't going to go if it was terrible. I kept looking at the maps. It was the right direction, but it was 20 plus knots, and it was going to be pretty intense, but nothing that the boat or me can't handle. So the time rocked around, the wind still looked pretty good, and then late one night, early in the morning, I set off. This is a bit of the footage of the trip. Hope you find it interesting. I certainly enjoyed it a lot. Well, it's 3:30 in the morning. I departed about maybe an hour ago. Had a few dramas. The halyard got caught around steaming light and ripped it off the mast. So I've put a bit of a temporary one up there. Still saying it's around 18 knots offshore. I've put 2 reefs in the main, and I'll hoist the head sail when I'm confident being in the clear. So one last look at predict wind before I got amongst it, and it all looked pretty good. The right direction, not a bad speed. I thought I'll stick my nose out through the heads and see what it's like anyway. Really hard to get an idea in the harbour. And it was pretty good in the night because couldn't really see any waves or anything. The boat just powered on. 2 reefs in the main. Dawn came along pretty soon. Love watching the sunrise over the ocean. I was making pretty good time, over 5 knots, which is what I allowed myself. Now and again I hand steered, and I could usually go a bit faster. And I wasn't trimming the sails a lot every now and again, but it wasn't a race. I just wanted to be comfortable. This is a version of hand steering with my feet, very comfortable there. I could see the ley line on the chart, on the plotter. I've actually put a couple of rear vision mirrors off a bicycle on some of the stanchions there, so I can assume that position and see ahead. That was the only ship I saw off Newcastle. That was the only other boat. Spent a little bit of time downstairs just looking out the window and watching it go underwater. It was quite amusing for a while. It was about 100 miles from my marina to where I wanted to anchor, and so I wanted to chew up the miles as quick as I could because I wanted to get through this headland here, the channel into Port Stephens, and anchor before dark, because there is a lot of sandbars and things inside there. Very interesting gash in the side of Tomaree headland, but it was a great relief actually to get in at the end. Always dolphins there, magnificent. And this is where I ended up, just adjacent to the main marina there. There was some courtesy marks there, quite a bit of current running through there, but all in all, a great anchorage. The next day, I went for a bit of a tour around the bay. John was up there at this stage, and we caught up through the night. A lot of beaches like this. This is sort of just in between Nelson Bay and Corlette. Nice white sandy beaches, bushland settings, really nice. This is Corlette Marina, which is relatively new. It's like a resident sort of boat place, one of those things. It was a lovely spot. The sun never came out while we were up there, which was very disappointing because the water up there is so beautiful and clear. That's looking back at Tomaree. John jumped on board, went fishing, he just caught the same fish over and over and over again. These are actually different fish. It's just his face is always the same, like a rock, and the fish are all like tiny little things. There's another little fluffy one. Yeah, of course at some stage I look up and hear some yelling and look, some fool's lost his dinghy. Yeah, I know that fool very well. Here they are, some good people on a neighbouring boat returned it to me, so I thought I'll take it out for a blat, check conditions outside and have some fun. So this is sort of the entrance to the heads. There's a few rolly waves and that around there. This is just off Shoal Bay, but it was great fun. Had a blast. Here's one. Get on it, Jock. You. Oh, that was so sick. I got back to the boat, prepped up. I was departing early in the morning, and here I am, offshore. Magnificent. Another sunrise, which is always a glory. Very light conditions. I was sort of motor sailing, and I reckon that I could distinctively see the East Australian current here. The water changed colour. They don't come up in the video, but there's fish under there. I could see the fish and the birds. I didn't have the thermometer in the boat. They say that the current of the water is warmer, but it's attached to my speed log on the boat, and I don't actually have it deployed at the moment. But this was definitely current, I reckon. The preventer that I fashioned held everything rock solid. Now the preventer, of course, prevents the boom from swinging around the other side. That can happen if you're running downwind. Wind's coming from behind us. So the wind's shifting, slightly. If you roll off a wave a bit, you might curl down and you jibe. The wind shifts to the opposite quarter of the boat and the boom wants to go the other side. This can be quite violent and puts a lot of stress on tracks and that down there, traveller track, and all your fittings and that sort of thing. So a preventer prevents something. So I've got a continuous line running from the back of the boom. Comes down here. I run it through this cleat here. That'll continue up here. To a block here. Goes around that block there, around that block. Continues down here. All the way back around everything. That goes to that boom. When I want to jibe, I got the slack here. And I can just run that down to the cleat, and I undo the other side and I jibed, and it's sort of working all right. So there's many different systems, and this is my system. Well, I've gone about 60 miles. It's early afternoon. I just put the drone up in the air and sailed away from it. I crank the sails on a little bit and change angles so I could get some good shots with a bit of speed. Unfortunately, the right stick of the drone didn't seem to be working properly, so I couldn't go forward. So by the time I looked back after doing everything, the drone was about 1 kilometre away and getting further. I turned around, I filled the head saw, turned around, tried to head for it, trying to drop the main, lost a bit of course, couldn't find it, just driving around everywhere. Then I saw the boat, like on the footage of the drone, I was still watching that. But it was very hard to determine what way the boat was going, and I was going around in circles trying to work that out, which was quite crazy. I did more or less get underneath it. Yeah, more or less got underneath it, and then I lost the connection from the remote for whatever reason. I couldn't see the drone visually, so I thought, oh no, and I drove around in circles more, and I couldn't find it. At this stage, I dropped all the sails, so I thought, oh, I've lost the drone. So I pulled all the sails up and resumed my course, headed back downwind. And then after about a minute, the connection came back, and I turned around, I dropped the sails again, and I tried to get underneath it. It was up about 200 metres, and the battery was critically low, and it was making all sorts of sounds and that, and I was just going, oh no, no, no. Then the connection was lost again, and I gave up, but only for a minute or so. And then the connection came back, and at this stage the remote's beeping and making all sorts of noise, and it's going critically low, making emergency landing. And I just watched it get lower and lower on the footage, still about 30 metres, and I thought, oh, maybe, but wouldn't respond to any controls at that stage. And then I just watched it, the water get closer and closer until it stopped. It would have been classic footage, but nah, that was a real bummer. Yeah, it was a real bummer. This is the track that I took. You can see where I turned around and gone round and round and round and round, and over here and over there, and oh man, it was so weird. I should have looked at that first of all and then just backtracked to it, but I didn't think about that. So the tally goes up one. Yeah, I had some real problems with the head sail just prior to getting into the harbour. It wouldn't deploy, wouldn't roll up, wouldn't do anything, just flapped the shit out of itself. I eventually got in the harbour and I got it unrolled and all was good, but I did do myself some cartilage damage in the process, and I'm still paying the price for that. All in all, a great trip though. A couple of 100 miles solo. Took me only 15 hours to get back, and I learned a lot. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye. See ya.